welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with a very quick video with regards to update 1.24. Obviously we had 1.23 that came out last week, adding the Mercedes AMG F1 car and a new track, and it had some BOP changes within that update. But today we've had a further update with quite a lot more BOP changes, a real big amount of changes within the BOP of the Group 3 and Group 4 cars. The Mercedes, obviously this car has been fixed, the AMG F1 car, the 2017 Lewis Hamilton car is now much easier to drive on downshifts. They've fixed the issue that I pointed out when I did the video, obviously showing the content update, and I noticed it straight away, it was clear as day. There is still a little bit of an issue with it, I think, which can be changed with the default setup, and this is going to be a very, within the setup you can change some of the stuff to do that. We'll talk more about that as I go into this video. There's just a few issues with it. I still feel the differential can do some adjusting. It's going to be a tricky car to drive with the default setup this when it comes to the FIA race, because the rear does still want to kick out a little bit, but that it's more to do with just driving a little bit smoother. But I think setups would alter that if you were allowed to do setups, but we're going to go into this video anyway. So main improvements and changes, obviously circuit experience. They've changed something that was if you did something before update 1.23 it affected something, and nothing really major. A reg plate on one of the cars that got added on the Honda on the last update, nothing really important there. Something on the livery, something to do with the decals not being placed right on the rear, that's been fixed. Not really that worried about that. The main thing obviously at the bottom there is the Mercedes has been fixed on the downshift, as it wasn't downshifting properly, which some people were trying to say that's how it should handle, which is clear as day. It wasn't supposed to handle like that. I mean, I don't understand why some people had the impression that it was fine, because it was clearly broken from the start. It's now been fixed and that's been sorted. Now we're going to move on to the BOP changes now, and this is where things have got really interesting, because the Alfa Romeo 4C has had a power decrease. The M6 GT3 car has also had a power decrease, as along with the BMW Z4. Now the BMW Z4, I'm not too sure if that's a good move, that decrease in the power on the BMW Z4. It was a particularly weak car anyway. It wasn't a particularly great car, so not too sure on that. Now the the Chevrolet Corvette Group 3 car has had a power decrease. That's about right. I feel that makes sense, because that car was very powerful. The Dodge Viper SRT has also had a power decrease, which kind of makes sense as well, along with the Ford Mustang. So all the power cars have had a decrease. Now the new Ford GT LM Spec 2 cars had a 1% power decrease. That is too weak, because you're decreasing all the other cars that have got power, but then you're only decreasing that by 1%. It doesn't really make much sense, that to me. But that isn't available in the manufacturer series, so that's not so relevant for that. But for daily races, they need to adjust that again. I think that'll be adjusted in the next patch, because they can adjust the BOP on that car without affecting the manufacturer series. The Jaguar F-Type has also had a power increase, and Mercedes AMG GT3, which I'm really grateful for, has had a power increase by only 1%, but it should be a little bit of a benefit to that car. So that's good for myself and the manufacturer series. And the Lancia Evolution Group 3 car has had a power decrease. Now I was going to use that for the Brands Hatch race, and I'm not sure now. It's going to be between that and the Porsche, because the Porsche has also had a power increase. The RS01 has had a power decrease, and the Toyota FT1 Vision Gran Turismo has had a weight decrease by 1%. Now that could be quite important for that car, because obviously a power increase is less powerful than decreasing the weight by 1%, because of obviously 1% of 1,000 kilograms, for example, is quite high compared to 1 horsepower of like 100 horsepower. The difference obviously is quite a big difference. So that the Toyota could be interesting now. That car at certain tracks, it's probably going to be quite powerful on like handling tracks. Within the Group 4 cars, the Audi TT has had a power increase. The Citroen Group 4 car, this has had a power decrease and a weight increase also. So that car's going to be reducing its performance. It did need it. It was getting a little bit overpowered in certain situations. I'm not sure. The fuel may have been adjusted as well. I'm not too sure. It doesn't mention anything about the fuel being adjusted within the update notes, but let's just see. The Dodge Viper Group 4 cars had a power decrease, that's about right. The Ferrari 458 Italia has also had a power decrease. You may have seen me mention that in Suzuka, how powerful that was down the straights, and kind of makes sense. Not too sure if it needed it though, 'cause it wasn't particularly the most powerful car anyway. The Honda NSX has had a weight increase, so that's been weakened a bit. Now the Mercedes SLS AMG has had a weight decrease, thankfully, 1%. Whether it's going to be enough to make it a little bit more competitive, it should help it a bit. Any help is better for myself, so I'm grateful of that. The Peugeot RCZ Group 4 cars had another power increase. Now this car could be extremely powerful at certain tracks now, because it had a weight decrease and a power increase on the last update, and now they've given it another power increase. So Bathurst, that car, I guarantee you in the Group 4 cars, that car is going to be very strong at Bathurst when it comes up on the next Group 4 race. Also, the Porsche Cayman's had another weight decrease, so that car also could be a little bit OP. That I think instead of doing that, they should have increased the power by 1%, because I think that could get very powerful, that car now. And finally, I think a lot of people are going to be happy with this, but I'm not sure if they've gone too far, is the Renault Sport Megane has had another weight increase of 2%. Now, this could make this car, it could go down either way. It could be pretty much balanced now, or this car could be now so slow on the straights it's going to be pointless, because 2% weight increase is going to affect that car. It's probably going to make it reasonably... I think it's going to be okay for how it's balanced now, but I'm just worried that maybe they should increase it by another 2% the weight, but then give it 2% power to increase it. And I think that would then make it a little bit more close to the other cars in terms of the way it is, because you might come into a situation with that car where it's so slowed down the straights it's going to cause issues. Anyway, there's the BOP changes. I think they're quite good overall. I think they've clearly listening, and the fact they've got this out so soon after doing the other update, it means they are listening to people. Just hope they listen with regards to the daily races, and bringing back either a shorter race, maybe 2 to 3 days having them on, or even adding some more variety. You know, so many people are talking about endurance races. They want it, so whether they're going to listen and bring us endurance races within the daily races, we'll have to wait and see. So next, obviously, this is the F1 car I'm driving here now. I don't really like the other view, the cockpit view on the F1 car. I do on proper F1 games, I do use the cockpit view, but on this it doesn't really. It feels a bit weird, but it feels much better now than it was before the update. The downshifting, you can hear it, but still you have to go through some of these corners in quite high gears, because the rear will kick out on some downshifts. So you can see going through 4th gear, you know, it's telling me in game to go through them corners in 1st gear. If I did that, the car would just spin out, and I don't understand why they're saying 1st gear and 2nd gear for this corner, because this is a 6th or 7th gear corner there. As you can see, doing a lot of short shifting, so powerful this car. Obviously I'm running no traction control, and the rear does want to step out. I only had a very quick go, jumped on, did a lap. I think this was my second lap, and it's already about 2 seconds quicker than what I did before they fixed the downshifting when I jumped on and did 2 or 3 laps when the update came. So it's clearly been improved. It's a much better car now. It's still, I think, if you were going to race this where setups were allowed, you'd want to change some stuff with this, because the rear does still kick out on downshifting and on deceleration. So you will want to probably go into the differential and adjust the LSD and give it some more stability on the rear. So on deceleration, give it an increase in its LSD, and possibly on the acceleration, decrease that one. It'll probably make it a bit smoother on power. That's my advice. Also, you might want to maybe adjust the ride height slightly, because obviously the rake of the car might be a bit too forwards, and that could be causing the rear to kick out. So you might want to just raise the front ride height up a bit, and that might help it out as well. So also with the gear ratios, you could adjust the gear ratios if you go to fully customizable. Maybe change some of the gears so they're a bit longer, and it'll probably help out on the downshifting also. But obviously for the FIA races, you're not going to be able to change any of the gear ratios or anything like that, because it's all default setup. So it's going to be a tricky car to drive. Obviously I drove it with no assist then, obviously just the ABS on the default setting, because that's the strongest way to drive on GT Sport. I wish they would make the cars based on factory settings how they drive, because obviously this car doesn't have it in real life, but it doesn't drive realistically on GT Sport when you've got ABS off. It locks up far too easy. You go on to games like Assetto Corsa, iRacing, and drive these cars, and it's a lot easier to control the braking. So that's the only criticism I have. I just wish they'd just change some of the ABS settings to be real life. So if a car's got it, then it's better in the game with it on. If it doesn't have ABS in real life, then it's better to have it off. That's how I feel it should be, and it's a lot like Assetto Corsa and Project Cars do their brake settings. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Some very positive changes with the BOP. Let's see how they play out. it could make the racing a little bit more competitive and some changes there. I still think the Ford needs, in the Group 3 cars, it's clear that car needs some further decrease in power because it's just so overpowered on the straights. But whether they're going to listen, they should listen. I'm guessing they'll just change that gradually because that car's irrelevant for the FIA Manufacturer Series, so they can adjust that as the season goes on without any harm to the FIA season. Anyway, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. I do upload every single day. I'm hopefully going to have the Nürburgring track guide out today, which I was P2 in Europe on the top 10 stars. Not too sure if I'm still there, but I'm going to get that guide done today, hopefully, and try and get that out, so it'll be there obviously for the whole week for anyone to try and improve their time. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll be back very soon.